It's a little like Hobbit house.
Okay, came down, I remember the first house on the right, very long stairway up there, don't recall the there. Followed on down the first house I can recall on the left, was sort of interesting, I was walking down the driveway, a couple people were sitting facing away from me in the Adirondack chairs. And I said, hello, and the gentleman says, stop where you are. Okay. And he says, we're naked.
Joke we're on.
It's okay. I'll come back. So that's okay. No. That's it. So. They were supporting the candidacy. I remember that. But, other than that, there were a number of houses down on Market Road to get to, where is it, Bill? Like,
It comes out to White House Cove. There's like 25 camps all along the water.
the sidewalk down there. Interesting.
Yeah, and I can walk my dog as a snowmobile trail that cuts across, so you can make a loop over to there. It's pretty nice.
The price tag was kind of interesting. Given what prices are elsewhere. I was just flipping through a banking magazine today and I saw the island on Bobble Pond, 7 acres,
Yes.
200,000.
Okey doke. Hi, Dave, do we have you on?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Dave. Sorry about that. We had some trouble getting in.
It's okay. How you doing?
Okay. Pretty good. How are you?
Good.
Okay, so this is the February 11th, 2025 Bunganut Committee. It's just Kevin and I.
Yes.
So Holly Woldridge
Kevin Vera.
and
Dave Alves in the box.
there you go. Okay. The January minutes.
Yes, I apologize.
That is okay.
I thought our meeting was tomorrow night, so I was planning
So
on
did
doing
I.
them tonight.
So did I.
Yeah.
Yeah. I keep thinking it's Wednesday too, so I'm all mixed up.
Yep.
Okay, so I skip right to old business. An update on the ramps. Yeah, so since the last meeting, you and I have met with Rebecca, and planning board, and moving forward with the permitting as permanent structures. Rebecca sent us the application for permanent docks, and sent some questions over to Dave today about specifics of that application. I would like to still talk to you, Dave, to see if I should still go forward and try to set a meeting up, just a quick conversation with Allison from the DEP to see about.
I think we should wait to hear from Rebecca on all her thoughts. Once she has everything
Okay.
that she's decided, then we can move forward in a direction that she'll be able to help us with.
Okay.
Yeah, just to update to that, I met with her this afternoon to discuss the permanent dock application for the planning board. She went through it with me, and we just need to finish filling it out. And we're already on the agenda for next Wednesday for the planning board. And she's all set to move forward with it as a
Okay.
permanent structure application. And on the other end, the DEP end,
Yeah.
I spoke with Lindsay briefly, and
Yeah.
I think, Dave, you and Lindsay are going to discuss jointly with the application for the beach, the pre-app. And
Yes.
Going to lump in the
Gotcha.
permitting for the ramps as well.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Excellent.
Okay. That makes sense. Is there anything that we need to do as far as, like some of the legwork. Was a couple of the questions that I sent you, Dave, about the plans, the design plans and the site plan.
On the planning board side, there'll just be some sketches that don't need to be stamped by an engineer.
Okay,
And I'm taking care of those.
great.
I already know all the requirements, so those will all be prepared for next week's meeting.
The only thing that might be helpful on that, Kev?
Yep.
Is maybe some elevations.
Yes. Yeah, that's Rebecca recommended. If there's any way we can get
high
any kind
water
of,
mark
Yep.
and then elevations and,
Yep.
I'm not sure if you could even get a normal low water mark or, after October. Because that's, right now we're what, 75 feet to 100 feet offshore?
yes,
Is the water?
yes. It's like a 5-foot drop.
Okay. And then for the site plan, so there was I don't know, my notes to you, Dave, open. There was a design plan and a site plan, right? That was required for Rebecca's permit.
Yep.
And then, so what do we need for the site? Same thing,
Yeah,
like your aerial view or something?
The site plan would be more of an engineering plan and overall showing the locations of each ramp.
Mhm.
And then I was going to do a blow up of each site, showing the topography, the ramp laid out from the shore down into the sand.
Okay,
And she also recommended if there's any way we can get any kind of photos or cut sheets or anything from the dock manufacturer,
Yeah.
actually showing the ramp in the water.
yeah,
That one that I showed was a little confusing because the
right.
ramp went to a float rather
Float.
than into the water.
Okay. I can reach out to either of the two
Yeah.
and see if they have something.
Yeah, if they have anything that shows what this ramp looks like, would be good.
Okay,
You can add that to the application.
okay. Okay,
That was pretty much it for the planning board
I
stuff.
think that's it and I am away next week, all of next week. Is that okay?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm fully prepared to
Okay,
present. No problem.
Thanks. Okay, was that it for ramps? I think so.
And I do have, Rebecca gave me a copy of the email from the DEP stating that we're allowed more than 2 structures. Basically, it said that Chapter 1000 stops at allowing, it just says for up to 2 docks per lot. The DEP interpreted the standards as 1 dock per shore frontage standard. So since it's a
Okay.
fairly rare occurrence to have that much shore frontage,
Hmm,
so this person said, I don't think they went into the rule, so 3 docks is okay.
okay,
And we have that in writing.
okay. Are these all going on one application?
Yes, it's going to be 1 application.
Okay. I don't know. Do we need to get in? Let me know just stop me if we don't need to get into the details of these other questions that I had, but if you covered it with her, or
She went
going
through
forward,
all
but
of them and didn't have any issues.
like all the substantiation stuff, like how do you substantiate that I was just looking at, I pulled these right out of paragraph 15 under the shoreline zone, 15C.
Mhm.
And under the ordinance, and it said, that you need to basically substantiate that the soil is appropriate for construction and erosion control
Mhm.
plan, and then like the DEP substantiation for, what was that?
Kev, can you, you can do a detail, can't you?
Yes,
So, there is gonna be no excavation because they're all roots. So it's gonna cause more damage than what you can do. So what I'm hoping is that we can lay a layer of 1.5-inch stone and put the erosion mix around that,
Mhm.
and then set the 4x4 platform, then they can anchor it down.
Yeah, it would be very
So
minimal.
that'll save any roots that stabilize in the bank and feeding those trees.
Mhm. Yeah, as long as we stay under a cubic yard of material, whether it's excavated or filled, we're fine.
Yeah, which for a 4x4 should be plenty.
Yeah, it's just to level it off. It shouldn't be bad at
Yeah.
all. Yep.
Okay. By any chance, did she say anything about the adverse effects on fisheries? I mean,
Yes.
intuitively, it seems
Actually,
no, but
in the permanent dock application, there's basically eight things that we have to satisfy.
Yep.
It's similar to the 16 standards for planning board
Yep.
site plan review. And basically, I'm just going to put in a narrative for each one as part of the application that explains each one.
okay,
Several are not applicable.
Yep.
When it comes to disposal of wastewater and things like that.
Yep.
But the fisheries and like problems with floodplain development, things like that can be explained with a brief narrative. So that
Okay.
shouldn't be a problem.
Did she say anything about number 7 about demonstrate that it's not feasible to do a
Temporary, yes. That one we have good standing with the town for providing safe public access year round.
Okay,
And also just due to the steepness of the shore.
Yep.
If it was temporary, you take that out in the wintertime, you lose your access.
okay,
So I'm working on that narrative
okay.
to show that.
And I think a lot of those are the same questions that they ask on the NERPA, on the individual permit too.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, they're pretty well intertwined.
Okay, so then I'm not even gonna ask any of these questions on the individual permit. If Dave and Lindsay are gonna have the meeting, the pre-application and planning meeting for that. Because I think that will cover a lot of that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
And on the planning board permitting, just timeline wise, a public hearing will be required, but a site walk will not. So that saves us some time. We still need,
can you say that one more time?
yes, for the planning board review.
Yep.
We'll submit the full application, and our meeting next week will be, the planning board will look to see that the application is complete. That's the first step. And from there, we can move on to setting a public hearing, which is a minimum of 20 business days for the announcement. And that's the other thing, as part of the application, that we have to submit mailing labels to cover all the abutters within 500 feet of the town property.
Are there any?
Yes, there's quite a few, actually. I have
500, oh, of the property, not the
the
project.
entire property. So,
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
it was of the project.
yeah. So
Okay,
Rebecca and I went through and she made a list of all of them.
Yep.
So there's about a dozen or so.
yeah, okay,
So they'll all be notified of the public hearing. We'll have that public hearing at a future planning board meeting.
the date for that will be set next week.
Hopefully,
Okay,
if everything goes well.
Yep.
And probably be about a month out. And then from there, it will just be reviewing the standards in the application. There's 8 standards that have to be met. And from that, if everything's met, then it's approved. And there won't be any official notice of decision that will be recorded like a site plan review does. It's not required.
oh, okay,
But once you get planning board approval, then it's done. So timeline wise, I would say within 2 months, we should have everything complete on the planning
for the
board side.
planning board side, yeah,
Yes. Yep.
okay,
And one of the stipulations on that approval will also be it requires the full DEP approval.
Yeah,
If that's not met, then it's obviously that condition was not met, then the planning board approval would go away.
okay,
That's it.
okay. Sounds good. So beach. Are you reviewing that too with Lindsay, Dave? The beach permitting stuff?
Yes.
Is that for bringing in sand or?
Say that again, I'm
Is
sorry.
that for bringing in sand,
Correct.
hopefully? Okay. Okay. I don't have any questions on that unless you do.
Not at this point.
Okay. Pathways down. No updates to that, right? We're just gonna spread. That was the spreading the
Yes.
gravel with the
Yeah,
tractor.
those
Okay.
those will be fixed
There's
once the snow
nothing-
melts.
Okay. Nothing. And then same with the handicap parking, right? We had
Correct.
talked to Rebecca about the requirements.
Yep.
For that,
We're all set on that.
and that was right outside of the,
Yeah, as long as she just needs to be notified, but no other permits or anything are required, as long as we stay outside the 75-foot shore setback.
okay. Nothing else. And then park map, I had no updates on that too. I don't know if it would be helpful or not, or just a waste of time, but I did download that free art, the ArcGIS program, and I can export a lot of my stuff to it. I don't know if it's worth doing that or not. But,
Well, eventually I'd like to get a nice park map together, not just for overall keeping track of everything, but it'd be nice to have a map that can be handed out at the
that's what I'm
park for
thinking,
visitors.
because there are so many little pathways here and
Yes.
there, and honestly, even if you just go out behind the mansion, if you don't know, not
Mhm.
familiar with the area, can almost get lost out there. So that's, well, I'll talk about that on the next one down on the trails. Same idea. Okay, so that's all I have for that. And then the next would be Acorn. I still haven't circled back to Lindsay to see what the plan is for that. I keep meaning to pull up their original proposal that they had with line items and the cost for each associated thing, and I just haven't pulled that out yet, but I can circle back with Lindsay. I will do that. EF Lindsay. And close that out with them, if she hasn't already. So trails, Colin's been working on some Saturdays, doing some building. He and I walked it again last week. He had been out with the Boy Scouts on it, I think 2-3 weeks ago, and I couldn't make it. And they had ended up cutting and flagging from where he had left off last time, right up, tucked tight to the neighboring property. What is that? You just said it.
Over to Camp Karras.
Yeah, Camp
Yes.
Gareth, thanks. And then he took a straight shot down to the water. He's concerned that with the snow now and everything, that he's not going to get a chance to cut the full trail that circles back behind the Boy Scout camp and back to where he started. So he just cut and flagged right down to the water. So
that would be like the perimeter trail then.
except it doesn't, yeah, and so you would dump back out right onto the water trail.
Down
And
to
then
the
you would
shore.
have to,
Okay.
and then you'd have to go back up that way. Yeah. But it'd be a work in progress.
Mhm.
It was ambitious. And then I'm working together with him and Tom Cormier, and hopefully get together and try to figure out what they want, how I can help them put a little map together just to get started.
Mhm.
And then we've been talking with, trying to coordinate with Missy from the Sid Emery to try to coordinate colors, because Colin's all ready to, blaze his trees with certain colors.
Mm.
And so I said, why don't we wait and see and talk to Missy so that we can coordinate, so it's, she doesn't have a red system over here and it's all fragmented, and then you have a red over
Yeah.
here. And Missy said we can do whatever over there, we can change it to make it cohesive with the Bunganut side. So we're gonna continue on that. Lake Smart program, I haven't done any more looking into that, or except for that Karen had sent me the names of the people on Kennybunk Pond who are Lake Smart certified, I believe. And they did reach out. They sent me an email, so I have their contact information. And I have stashed that away for the future. I think that would be helpful resources when it comes time to doing groundwork, stuff like that. The wetland delineation, I talked to Missy again about that. I originally thought that was something that we could do in the spring, and she said it's pretty much summertime because you need a chance to get the things growing. It's basically
yes.
how they base it. Somebody just comes down and looks at it. Are there plants, not aquatic plants, but are there certain types of plants in that area? And that's how they basically do it, just by looking at the plants. So, but I think, again, I think that's pretty important for whatever projects come in the future for that area.
No, that should still stay on the agenda for just push back to the summertime.
Okay. The new business. You and I had talked a little bit about it. The plan. Did we talk? We did not talk about. I'm sorry. This is a new business. Yeah, the wood chips on the ball field side. There's still a big stash over there.
Yeah, I took another look at them, and I swear that pile used to be a lot bigger. I'm sure the Y has probably grabbed some over the years to fill in some of the trails and stuff. So
Yeah.
that's understandable. But there's still a good chunk over there that we can put to good use.
Holly had noted that she thought that they were responsible for replenishing the wood chips under the play sets. And so that could be that they're digging into that to do that.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
But that's another important thing is we should get some certified playground chips out there.
Yeah. Okay, I do have that next on, or after the
Playground.
small. So for now, we have no immediate plan for those wood chips.
No immediate plans.
Okay.
Could
But just
definitely,
know that they're
yeah,
there.
we can
It's a good
definitely
stash.
use them in some of the trails, especially the shore trail.
Yep.
And in the pines to cover up some of those roots.
Okay. For trails. Okay. And then I was poking around out there, a month ago or so, and there is a small pile of stone in the ball field parking lot. So I don't know who we would check with to see if we could grab that. I don't know. I mentioned it to Liz. She said she's not aware of it soccer, it belonging to soccer for anything. I can't imagine what they would use it over there for. So it's there. It's not huge, but, and then the playground. So we talked to Matt Henyon I was talking to Matt Henyon from the LWCF grant. He's the administrator for that. We were talking about something totally unrelated, but he had mentioned in conversation that he had just become certified playground safety inspector. It's a thing. And he noted the condition of the
Yes.
playground at Bunganut.
Yeah, our playground has failed.
Yeah, yeah, in terms of, well, a lot of factors, but
Yes.
mainly he said the wood chips underneath it. There's criteria. He said it's not, mandated, but there are guidelines that we should be adhering to. So, like Kevin said, I think maybe for opening, we should investigate what was it called? The engineered, no, not necessarily engineered, playground chips.
Playground chips, yeah.
And I think that's what we got from,
Yeah, I would think like J.E. Simpson would carry that. And maybe even the new boiler logging on 111 where they do their
yeah,
mulch and stuff. They might have something like that. I'm not sure.
okay, yep. I mean, that's where we got them from for the pirate ship, the library. But I don't know. It was kind of eye-opening because I thought, oh, well, we've got all this playground equipment going on at the
Yes.
library. And then, I mean, that's in really good shape compared to the stuff at Bunganut. In Matt's words, he said it was a bleeding safety concern. So I talked to Holly about it, mainly about the wooden structure over there. She said that the Y actually had put that there, and it's more of a residential
Mm-hmm.
type of equipment than it is for a park.
Yeah.
And she had no problem if we wanted to get rid of that thing, which I think we should. I know we just put a new slide on it, Parks and Rec did, but we can hang on to that and I'm sure we'll use it in the future for something else. So if everybody's okay with that, I'm sure Parks and Rec can demo that, and if that's okay, can go through Lindsay.
Yeah.
And see if she's okay if we do that, get rid of that thing before the spring.
Yeah, definitely in the future we'll look into more commercial grade playground equipment to upgrade that stuff. So
I think the swings, I know the swings and the dome are in great shape.
Yep.
Just need to
they just need some
meet the standards.
safety
of the,
under. Yeah,
yeah,
I think he mentioned that it should be like 9 inches of chips.
Yep.
I know in the swing area, there's bare areas right down to the ground and a certain distance out for if a kid flew off a swing, they still land on the chips and not on the ground.
right. Yeah, and he had some good recommendations for how to quickly, monitor the depth of it if they get packed down and spread out. And you immediately need to know, you know if you need to replenish them. And then that got me kind of going down a little rabbit hole about looking at playground stuff for Parks and Rec too. And there's a lot of good resources online. If I Googled Maine, playground safety stuff, there's good guidelines. And then there's some really good checklists that I think that we can implement. And I was going to bring that up at the Parks and Rec meeting tomorrow, just to do, routine inspections of that stuff. Okay. Ball field fence spectator area cleanup. Would like to organize a day and, team up with maybe some of the organizations that are going to be using it to see if we can hack away at some of the stuff that's growing up on the fences over there. It makes me feel really bad. I feel like the fences are going to get ruined. There's trees growing up through the fences and there's vines overtaking the fences. And then the spectator area behind the backstop on the softball side is just all encroaching. And again, that's something that Parks and Rec can pursue too. If it's after April. Ash borer. I threw this on here because I had an interesting conversation with the forester. I forget his name off the top of my head. No, he's the local guy for York County that works out of that building on 111. Anyways, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I had called him because we have
Oh, the main Forest Service building?
Yeah, that main Forest
Oh,
Service
okay.
building. We've got ash all on our property and up and down our road that are just, they're dying quick.
Hmm.
You can see it. They stand out like a sore thumb once you spot it. And he said and I knew, but he said there's nothing you can do about it except for you can be proactive and you can remove the infected trees before they're gonna fall on your house or your vehicle. So I thought, I didn't quickly see any, I didn't do a thorough walk down there, but I didn't see any right down near the water's edge or anything, or by the playground. But there's quite a few out on the trail system.
Hmm.
And he said they're gonna be dead probably within 5 years. And it's better off, if it's gonna damage something, he said it's better off to take it now than wait. So it's a shame. He said that, all that logging you see down 202 on the edge of Shaker, they had got an exception to, log all of that and take those all out.
Mhm.
Closer than what like the shoreline ordinances allow because of it.
Dave, is there anything our forester can do to add that into the list of lots that are going to be worked on?
Probably not until phase 2.
Okay.
Right now, they have their hands full with what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But let's put that on a list, and I'll submit it to them.
Okay. And then last thing I just threw on there was I was again just poking around online and I saw the Maine Conservation Corps. I think maybe someone had mentioned this way early on, but it was just something I noted that maybe would be useful in the future, where they have groups of people that'll come here if you provide them a space to camp. They can come here for weeks on end and do trail work for you, all kinds of different projects. And it sounded pretty cool. I do think there is like a weekly rate, but I think it's pretty good for what you get. So I just threw that on there to note. And that was all. Any questions, comments?
I think Karen sent an email out about a couple of upcoming grant opportunities. Deadline for both of these will be the 5th of next month. A flagship grant through the AARP. And when one submits an application for that, it immediately goes into a pool for the Lifelong Maine Community Connections grant as well. I think the upper limit is $25,000 on that. And I was thinking if you wish to put together a wish list, we can take them from there in terms of putting an application together that would provide some history on Bunganut as a town property, the formation of this ad hoc committee, the employment of a consulting firm, Acorn, for some guidance, the renovations that have been done to date, the bridge, the chapel, the clearing of trees, projects that are in process right now, the Eagle Scouts endeavor on the trails, improvement of other paths, handicap parking, the development of a map, as you mentioned before, and the RFP that will be going out for the acquisition and installation of the ramps. Now, for the wish list itself, a couple things that I've heard of is maybe more picnic tables, ADA compliant in particular, Adirondack chairs, tandem Adirondack chairs. What would help the application would be sort of before and after pictures of what has been done so far, what needs to be done as well. Let's see. a pavilion or some other structures to provide more shade. Maybe renovation of the volleyball, I guess you call them courts, although it's sand.
Yeah.
Have to ask Mary about that. She played volleyball in college. And as you just mentioned before, maybe renovation of the playground apparatus and also the chips to provide a more better cushioning. So if you throw something our way, we could get the ball rolling in terms of putting together some information there. If you got
Joe, Joe, is there a time frame that money would have to be used by?
I'm uncertain, but if it's anything like the Community Connections grant that we got for the ramps, it'd be, I would think, within a year. So I'm thinking about requesting funds for something that we can quickly turn around and use with some immediacy. You have something a little bit more longer term in mind, Dave?
No. I just, I don't want to get a bunch of money and then we sit on it and it just dies,
No, I don't think that'd be the case. No, we are not going to let that money die.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me.
Mhm.
Something I just threw together, some ideas.
Okay,
So I actually went out and
yep,
counted how many picnic tables we have out there
yeah, thank you for
in
doing
all the
that.
different areas.
I know there are photographs of some of the more rough-looking ones
Yes.
available.
Yeah. And even if we couldn't get the funds to replace all, it's close to 40 tables total.
Mhm.
Maybe half of that,
Mhm.
most of the ones in the pines, and whatever's left for the existing picnic tables, we choose the best
There you go.
15 or 20 and keep those, and then
Mhm.
slowly replace those over the years.
There was a strong sentiment to specify one select board member to go with the composite material so it's more lasting.
Mm.
And along with the wish list, maybe some estimates as to the cost.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And compile that. Oh,
included
that's great.
that. I just quickly went on to Places Wayfair because I got pretty much everything on there, just for some ideas.
Just ask Kelly Clarkson.
For the picnic tables and Adirondack chairs and stuff.
That's great. One thing I'm a little bit uncertain about is where to find some background information as to how the town came across acquiring the property in the first point. You got something
have
along those
some
lines?
information. Yeah,
Yes.
Because I've been here since '95, and it was maybe a dozen years ago I realized, oh, we've got this.
in this, in talking with Matt Henyon, the LWCF grant coordinator, Michelle and I had a conversation, a Zoom meeting with him back in the summertime. That was our first contact with him. He's asking a bunch of questions, and he said, are you aware of any other LWCF grants that Lyman has? And we pulled up the map, and he said, oh, Bunganut was acquired through the LWCF grant. That's the only one we have.
How about that?
And then you can look that up online too. You can go to the LWCF, it's Land and Water Conservation Fund
Mhm.
grant website, and you can look at all of the sites where the grant was awarded. It's a lot of Alfred tennis courts, playgrounds, Massabesic tennis courts.
Good.
But Lyman, that was the only one in Lyman.
You know approximately when that happened?
1974, 1975. And then the deed is very interesting. If you look at the deed, it's a book. I have it here. I don't have a copy of it in front of me, but the deed reference number, I think, if I can read my writing, book 3461, page 271. And that was deeded to the town by the state, with the stipulation that the town maintains it, like as a perpetual stewardship obligation
All right.
for public recreational use.
Okay, good to know.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that grant, the email from Karen, because it reminded me of one thing, if I could circle back to. I had a note on here to ask Dave about the parking lot under the old business under trails. Dave, you familiar with that tiny little dirt lot that exists? That
Which
holds
side?
on the ball field side. If you're looking at the ball fields, it's to the right of the ball
Yeah.
fields. It's not gated, but it holds about 4 or 5 cars max.
Yes.
Do you know? So that whole area was logged, was part of the logging. I don't know how many years ago. Not that long ago. Do you know? And I think that there was talks of using ARPA funds maybe for that area way back, and that kind of fizzled out. Do you know
Yeah,
if there's
That
anything
was to expand the ball field parking.
expand the ball field parking with
Along
the
the road there. And that kind of went by the wayside.
yeah. Do you know if there's any plan for that area? Because what you said, Joe, about the grant made me think that, I remembered I wanted to ask Dave about that. If there was a plan for that area, or if it could be, that little parking area could be expanded upon. I know that entryway and the exit is a nightmare.
Yes.
There's a big dip there. And then with the new growth, it's really hard to see coming in and out. But it's a fantastic little spot. I would love to see that be the main parking for the trails if you want to go over on the Sid Emery side, or if you want to go across the street on the Bunganut side. And then as well as rehabbing the kiosk that the Sid Emery side has up by the ball field.
Well,
So-
just to expand that and stump it and, clear it, bring it to grade,
Yep.
you're probably talking 25 grand all day long.
Yeah. Okay.
If it could be put into that grant. Is that something that for the criteria, Joe?
I think yes, but again, I think the maximum amount awarded would be 25 Gs,
Gotcha.
which would, obviate everything else that would be on the wish list. It might be a high priority.
Right. That's what I originally had brought Emily Brown out there for. She's from the Maine Recreational Trails program. She met Kevin and I out there and we did a walk, and I kind of had that in mind for the recreational trails program, but that's the kind of grant that requires, I can't remember that specific one, but I think it's a match. And so like Matt had explained, they want you to have that money up front. And I think at this point, that's going to be hard to do. And so I think
Could be matched with in kind. Or
off the top of my head, I don't remember for that particular one.
so it's a good option.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the whole plan has to be in place and ready to go.
Mhm.
And the town pays for it up front and then gets reimbursed.
I see.
Yeah, those are reimbursement grants, different than the AARP one, right? Okay. And then there used to be a small trail, very small, that connected the ball fields to the kiosk on the Sid Emery side. And I think it crosses over, actually, I think it's entirely on the town property. I think that the kiosk is on the town property, or right on the line. But there was a trail. It's completely grown up. I mean, you'd be on your hands and knees trying to find that little tiny goat path. But the signs are still in there. So I don't, I wanted to see if we could just clip that open. The signs still exist. Because otherwise there's no other way to get over to those trails from the ball field unless you leave the parking lot, walk down the road. So, okay. That is all I have. Oh, I did talk to someone about the volleyball courts. I talked to, and it might be good to have him come back and explain it all. It was a lot. I've talked to two people. I talked to the Parks and Rec director over in Waterboro because I thought that they had volleyball courts over at Friendship Park. So I kind of just wanted to pick his brain and see, hey, who put your volleyball courts in? To what, standards do people use them? And he said, no, nobody used them. They got rid of them. I didn't know that. And they put in pickleball courts. So and they don't charge or anything to use the pickleball courts over there. He said people just come and go as they please. They run their system over there themselves. But I did talk to some people playing pickleball over in front of at the courts in front of Pratt Whitney, and they have an app, and they organize themselves through this app, and they do pay a small fee, and that money goes to the aircraft club at Pratt Whitney. So I think there's different ways of doing that too. But I didn't realize the volleyball courts at Waterboro are gone. He said it was not very popular. I talked to Andrea. She used to be on Parks and Rec. Anyways, she organizes the adult co-ed volleyball at Lyman Elementary. She said it was very popular for them indoor in the wintertime because people are looking for things to do. In the summertime, they dissolve and they don't get together to play. So,
Sounds like pickleball might be a better way.
or, and I'm sorry, I can't remember Waterboro Parks and Rec director's name. He said, people would, he was very familiar with the Y program. He said that the Y kids use it all the time. They love it. And he said, at least just spruce it up. He suggested not to dump a lot of money into the volleyball court, just to give it a little TLC.
Mhm.
And that is all. All set? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
See you, Dave.
See you guys later.
Okay, thanks.
Let's see if I can.
You stole pickleball courts and William Defoe shows up.
Yes.
Oh,
William.
Yeah, Mick a little late.